We're ready for springs and wheels. Yeah, I think it's okay. Just put a clamp on each side and pull it down. That should get it. Oh yeah. Nah, it looks good. So, okay, some hardware here. These gonna match up? No, they're not. Oh dear. So does that mean my bolts are gonna match up? Probably not. Ah, dang. That's odd. Of course. Well, I'll get this squared away, get it figured out, and then we'll come back. I might have to, I don't know, I might have to bend these in a little bit or something. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here. If I open up the holes on these plates, it'll be too far apart. Shoot. I think the reason is that it had 1,000-pound springs on this before and we bumped it up. So the other alternative, I guess, is to use these plates and just remove these, because it did give me the these are for the size of the, I could use these, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll bring you back in once I get it sorted. Well, I guess the problem here is that the hangers that came with these springs are probably rated for a different axle or something. So these are 1/2-inch bolts, a little over 2 1/4 inch wide right there. And these ones are actually just about 2 inches wide. Probably the easiest thing to do is just look around town and get some, see what I can find. So I guess that's it for now. I'll have to look for some different U-bolts in the morning and see what I can find. Hopefully there's some around town. And we'll continue then. So I wasn't able to find any U-bolts in town that fit right, so I had to order some. So it'll be a few days before I get them. And in the meantime, I just clamped the axle to the springs and just slip the bolts in. I'm waiting for some larger ones for that also. So at least this is good enough that I can mount the wheels on here, and I'd like to just get it positioned back under the skiff, and then I can figure out how high I need to cut my brackets that are going to support the bunks. I just have some 3-inch C-channel that I'm going to drill and then bolt to the rails here, and then I'll weld a plate on top that I can bolt my wood into, and that'll carry the weight of the skiff on the trailer. So I'm going to get the wheels and tires bolted on here, and then we'll slip it back underneath and start to get the layout of those as far as the height and everything goes. So I'm just snugging those up for now because I'll need to take them off later to get this all finished up anyways. I'm not going to be going down the road or anything with it yet, so that looks good. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to wheel this underneath the skiff and just kind of get it positioned.
Oh, there's not going to be any boards.
Oh, that's what we're doing right now. Pieces of wood.
I don't know. I couldn't see.
Okay, come bring this over here. Okay guys, so trailer's underneath. Just kind of trying to get it semi-positioned. Give us a chance to slip our planks in here and get a measurement, see how high we need to cut these steel channel to. Once we get those pieces cut, we can have a pretty good idea of where we stand. Wow, okay. Well, I think that that's just right, huh?
Yeah.
Actually, so now at least we can kind of measure over the tires. This bracket is going to need to move forward. I think I'll probably just move it forward to this next set of holes there. The centerpiece won't be supported because of the cutout for the outboard, but I can still put a board there and run it forward and give the keel something to sit on. And then these need to come together by about 1 inch according to the manufacturer's instructions for where this leaf spring should be positioned. Just cutting these bolts off and just trying to be careful not to cut into the protective finish there. So a lot of times what you can do is you don't need to cut them all the way through. Just cut them part of the way through, get on it with an air wrench. It will spin them right off, the rest of the way off. That works pretty good. So that's a good trick. Most of it. Okay guys, so I just got back from the post office. I got the correct bushings that are going to replace the nylon bushings. And I also got the correct bolts, they're 9/16 bolts. So I'm going to press these out. Hopefully those new bushings go in fine. We'll get those all swapped out and then we can get this bolted up. So I'm just going to tap this bushing in and get it started. And I'll just use the vise to press it in the rest of the way. Okay, there we go. That looks good. Nice and easy. Just tap it down a little bit, even it out. Bolt goes through it. Yeah, so that's ready to go. I'll just do the same for the other 3. Then we get a plate cut temporarily to act as a U-bolt, and we can get this bolted down to the trailer and get everything adjusted where it needs to be. So I still need to make some kind of spacer up here for these two. Get rid of the slop right there. So those will just be like that. See, I still need to cut these bolts off here. I'll scoot this forward. I think it needs to come forward about an inch or maybe an inch and a half to get the angle on this shackle set properly, so I'll have to take a look at that. Just made a couple of quick plates to bolt these springs on here. So, mind you, these are just temporary until my U-bolts come in the mail. So nothing real fancy here. I'm not going to be moving the trailer down the road or anything. I just want to be able to get it underneath the skiff and actually drop it down and load this. So I'll just go round up a few more nuts and bolt this down. And that'll work great. I'm going to do the other side, and then I can get this length adjusted. Okay guys, so I guess my next step here is to get the distance set between these hangers. According to the research I did, for these hangers, I need a distance of about 24 5/8 in between this hanger and the top of the link right here. So I'm going to slide, it's too far apart right now, so I'm going to bring this rear one forward. So I'll just start by replacing these two bolts right here with some new ones and getting that locked down, and then I'll slide this one forward and lock that bolt down, and then the strap I'm going to have to probably shorten and re-drill. So let's get to it. I'm going to put some never sees on these. Don't have to worry about them galling up as much. And let's just tighten this up. And let's see, I'll probably have to wait on this hanger. So I'll wait on that bolt. I'll just slip it into place, I guess. That's probably a little bit too far, but let's take a look. So let's see, we're shooting for 24 5/8. So now I'll just put a mark here, about 1 1/8 roughly. I'll pull this back a little, and too far. Okay, that's 24 5/8 right there. Okay, so I'll just match it on the other side, and I guess we'll slide this back underneath the skiff and get these bunks cut and fitted into place. Okay guys, after looking at this again, I noticed that I had this bolt lined up on this hole here. I think I'm going to move it back here just so it's got a little more room to swing if it needs it, which I don't think it does, but we'll just center it up in the stronger part of that bracket. And then also instead of having to trim this down, I can just drill another hole to accept this bolt right here. And we'll come back and bolt it on and do the same on the other side. Okay, that looks good. Okay, that looks good. Let's double check this. And looks pretty close. Have all this stuff bolted back in now. Measured off the back rail up forward to match them, and the length from the eyes on the springs are both the same, so that should be pretty good, I think. I replaced the bolts on this, and I just kind of have it clamped in place temporarily. I think this is probably the new position it'll be. It was back here on the end, but I need to move it forward because the stern of our skiff has a cutout where the outboard drops into it. So I want to try and get the keel of the skiff up on the front of this so I can run a board in here. So I think that will get it pretty good. Other than that, I'm in pretty good shape. I have some aluminum plates holding the springs to the axle for right now. The U-bolts are in the mail. That'll work for right now. Like I say, I'm not going to be trailering this down the road like that anyways. All I really want to do is just to be able to get this underneath the skiff, and I might end up dropping it down here and loading this trailer and making sure that my bunks for the 2x6s that the skiff will sit on here, make sure that everything looks good. My plan is just to cut them a little bit long, get the angle set on the top for the boards on each side, and then and I'll just trim the bottoms. We just slid it underneath the skiff. I've got this cross piece aligned where I want it, and we just leveled it as best we can side to side, and so we're going to use a straight edge and an angle finder, and we're going to get this angle on each side back here where these bunks go. Basically it's going to be a piece of steel C-channel like that, and then 2x6 over the top of it. So that's the basic configuration right there. So we'll just use a straight edge and an angle finder, get that angle compared to the other side, make sure they're relatively accurate and the same, and we'll go cut some steel.
This bump trying to mess me up probably.
Just go on the inside of it if you can, but
should be good there.
yeah, it seemed pretty square there. Got it. Okay. Right about there. Off a little bit, so just come up on the end just a tiny bit. There you go. That looks reasonably accurate, huh?
Yeah, are we just splitting the difference here?
I think so. I think that'll get us pretty much where we need to be.
Yeah.
So that should do it. Yeah, so those weren't too far off, so we're just gonna split the difference, call it good. I don't think there's any reason it needs to be super accurate. Okay, I just have some 3-inch C-channel here, so I'm going to use those for the bunks. Okay, we'll get these cut and I'm shooting for about 8.5 inches off of the short end. Okay, that should be our angle. Okay, we'll square this off and then we'll cut the other pieces. Got a little piece of flat bar to go on top of that, and we can either leg bolt into our 2x6 or just through bolt it. We'll see.
Probably just through bolt it, huh?
Probably
and set
through
a little
bolt
bit
it.
through the top.
Probably.
A nice big washer and
I think that'd be the best route, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's go see how this looks. Looks perfect.
There it is. Nice.
Right?
Yeah. It doesn't. I mean,
This needs to come up, but the bow needs to come down.
Right.
So it all should kind of end up the same, I think.
Mm-hmm.
This is 8.5 inches right there. So if we set that at the same height, that's going to end up coming down essentially a couple of inches. So it should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'll cut another one of these and then we'll cut our cross piece and get it drilled and tacked.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have a piece of 1/4 inch by 2.5 flat bar that we're going to use to attach the wood to these bunks. So I'm just going to cut them at 6 inches like that. I'll leave room for a 3/8 inch bolt on each side. Nothing fancy. We'll just get these cut, get them drilled, and then we'll tack them onto our risers. I can't tell you how many times we see comes out of a welding shop where they leave sharp edges and sharp corners, and on a fishing vessel the last thing you want is somebody to run into a corner like that when the boat rolls and gouge a leg or rip your rain gear. $100 pair of rain gear destroyed because someone was too lazy to round off a corner or chamfer an edge. It's ridiculous. So take the time to do it. It's worth the results. Set up to weld this. I'm just going to tack it on for now. Go take a look and see if it fits okay. So I basically just split the difference here and I'm just going to weld it on like so. Nothing real fancy. We just threw a quick tack on these corners. Just take it out. See how it looks. So I have a couple of holes here from the cross member was actually right here, so that's what we're shooting for. We're just going to go right off that same spot. And that fits just right, doesn't it? That looks real good. So this skiff will be raised up a little bit in the back and it'll be lowered in the front, so I think that our angle will be fine.
Nice.
But that looks real good. So I'm just going to weld this out. I'm guessing the height is probably good. So I'll probably 45 these corners. Clean them up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll be good there. We've got our rear bunks bolted on. So we're just going to put a little air in these tires until these come up flush, and then probably strap this down back here so we know it's not going to move on the trailer. And then go up forward, put our floor jack underneath the keel up there, and lift it up high enough to get this beam out. And then we're going to lower that down until we get our heights off the trailer frame that we want up forward. And then we'll get the bunks cut for that. The brackets for the bunks, we'll get those cut and get the correct angle put on them, and get that welded up and get those mounted. And then at that point I think we're in pretty good shape. We'll just have to figure out what we need as far as the keel goes to support it, but generally speaking we'll be pretty close to getting this thing wrapped up. So we'll just put a little shot of air on both sides. Might have to put a little more air in. Looks good.
Yeah, there it is.
Alrighty. Yeah, that looks nice. So yeah, if we can just get this leveled out, then we'll be in good shape. Happy with that.